sitting here in my office thinking about the things that we've been sharing with you about the Proverbs Man, and we look through the Bible and we see a lot of men who have conquered a lot of things, but I really want to take this moment to lock in on King David and what King David accomplished and how he was able to accomplish what he accomplished. If you consider that King David started out as the youngest in his household of all his brothers, and his brothers were sent out to fight for King Saul, and one of the challenges at the time was this giant, as we all know, Goliath. And that giant had been plaguing the land. The armies were scared of him. And this little boy who was scrawny, the Bible tells you that he was scrawny and in his size. They tried to put on that armor and it didn't fit him, but he mustered up the courage to go out and fight Goliath. And in that conquering of fighting Goliath, he found his destiny. And so as I'm sitting here, I started thinking about it, and I said, you know what, let me get this out and get it in the open air. And I'm again speaking to men, young and old. You have a destiny, and that destiny is inside. Your destiny is inside your conquering. Whether you are starting out in life and you're trying to figure out where you want to go and what you want to be, and you are a young man and you're trying to determine how do you get there, how do you start. Maybe your family doesn't have the money for you to go to college. The pursuit to happiness can be, easily masked behind the fact that you are living in poverty and you don't have the income, or you're an older man and you're trying to figure out what am I supposed to be in my age that I'm in and where I'm at in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 40s, whomever. And whatever you are battling now, whatever that one or two or three things that you're struggling with, recognize your destiny is in the conquering of that thing. And I want to apply being the Proverbs man to how do we go and how do we conquer that thing that's there with us. And it starts with that foundation of gaining wisdom. Because wisdom, as the Bible tells us, wisdom is going to produce the success that we're looking for. I'm going to gravitate back because we've made it through a couple of chapters and some key verses, but one of the verses says that the Proverbs will give you insight to the simple, knowledge and discernment to the young. The purpose is to teach people to live a disciplined life and a successful life. So the Proverbs man sees every battle and circumstance as a opportunity, and that his outcome will be great. You start with hitting that pause button. Something pops up, crazy email from work. You are struggling in your marriage with your wife. That is real. Having moments where you aren't seeing eye to eye. Whether one of you committed infidelity, and you want to stay in the marriage and you want to make it work, but the struggle is how do you heal from the pain and the scars of being cheated on, or you are dealing with aggression and you've punched, you got arrested and you got something on your record, or you punched your wife or you punched somebody else. How do you deal with that anger? You are addicted to something. How do you conquer in that addiction? And I promise you, your destiny is in the conquering of whatever that struggle is. And so let's get back to keeping the main thing. Jesus is the focus. Jesus is the reason. Jesus is the season. Jesus is all things for us because he conquered so that we can conquer. He died on the cross. He defeated sin. He defeated Satan. And in our acceptance and believing in him, we conquer. And so as a Proverbs Proverbs Man, you're going to seek wisdom. First, seek those things of God, and in that you will see success. So my conversation with you today is, how do you pursue getting wisdom? It starts with getting in the Word of God. Simple. You don't have to start at the beginning. Start in the book of Proverbs. The book of Proverbs is going to help you build that foundation of why wisdom is important and how do you pursue the life of a Proverbs man. So when I started this out, I started talking about, and I'm clicking through a few things. So I started with talking about how David was able to conquer, and David went from conquering Goliath to conquering many other kings and situations. They go off to fight a battle. He comes back. The wives and all of the things in the village was taken, and David was like a modern day superhero, because whenever God spoke to him, he pursued and he went and he conquered all. God told him when they took the people, the women, the children, the things, they said, go and conquer and pursue. And so when we use David, I love David as an example, because we see his fractures when he put the woman's husband on the front line and kill him. We see David's fractures on a lot of things, but God still operated in him. And the battle that we see when we are talking to other men and other people, or asking somebody about church, they quickly jump to they're enjoying life, they're enjoying the life of no discipline, and they may be seeing success, they may be seeing making good money. Maybe they don't deal with the struggles of addiction, or they're addicted and they're comfortable with being in that addiction. But eventually those things will show up and provide greater fractures in life. Excuse me. And so I want us to recognize that even come as you are, and allow God and allow God to refine you, and those things that you may consider to be important fall off. Eventually they fall off. I use myself as an example where I moved to Chicago. I came out of college. I was the party starter. I was like, let's go, let's get it on, let's go have some fun. And I got in trouble with getting stopped by the police officers. Record is clean after that, but that prompted me to say, okay, I gotta quit playing with God and really get serious about this thing in life. And I started pursuing Him and driving back and forth to church every single Sunday. All I would do is get the Word, work out after work, stay focused, and be about letting God make me the person that I am. And then eventually, all the things that I felt was important, all of the things that felt boring, where going to the club felt exciting, but not going to the club also eventually felt good, because I was waking up without hangovers. I was waking up with money in my pocket. I was waking up without feeling guilty that I did something wrong. I was waking up feeling empowered to do more, keep myself in shape, go learn, study, become a better person, do more things to make myself more intellectually stronger. And with that, I began to build wisdom. I began to get baseline of things, and God began to work on me. And He eventually put the instinct in me to refine myself as a man before I would meet my wife, who I'm married to today. And I'll get into that a little bit deeper. But getting back to how David was able to become the great man that he was, because he conquered in the struggles and the battles that showed up in his life. And I want us to reflect on where you are, how we're going to become Proverbs men and conquer. We may not be, become kings of a king over a kingdom, but God did say that we are kings and priests. And so as a king, you do what? You conquer. As a priest, you start to build wisdom and knowledge on God. the brain operates in two fashions. You have your emotions that come in on the right side of your brain, and imagine you have tons of emotion that can drive you to do certain things, but when you start operating underneath God, you learn how to manage those emotions. You learn how to control those emotions and be disciplined and make sound decisions and make the right decisions in the right moment. And so let's be Proverbs men. So as we conquer in the battle we at, I want to say to you, hey, you may be struggling with something. You may be struggling with an addiction, but see it as opportunity, because as you pursue the Word of God, start right where you are. I don't care if you have a hangover, you're high, get fed the Word of God. Build wisdom. That wisdom is going to give you the knowledge and to get out. There have been a lot of people who were addicted to something, received Christ, and immediately addiction leaves. So let's pursue. And I want us to pursue with a passion, because we have a job to do. This world is struggling and hurting in many capacities, and as men, God has given us the responsibility to lead. No longer are we going to lead from the back, we're going to lead from the front. And if you are young and you are by yourself with no kids and no spouse, lead yourself and lock arms with those like you and lead. If you are a husband and you have families, or you're single father, you could have 12 kids. Lead those around you and lead in your community, because that will impact how we see this, how this world sees an image of God. When they see men stepping up to the plate, they will follow. And I will give you, in subsequent episodes, examples of how we as men affect the communities that we live in and we serve. And so we want to be Proverbs-led men. Get wisdom at all costs. Gain wisdom and knowledge so that we can make decisions on behalf of the world, stand in the gap for those who are struggling in their belief system, or getting somewhere. I too struggle with a couple things. I love Christ. I love the fact that I'm imperfect, and I can rely on someone to have my back, whether I'm making the right decisions or I'm not. You got me, God. You sent your son because you want to make sure that you have me in the palm of your hands for the rest of eternity. And so, guess what? I get to benefit from my relationship with Christ. Where I struggle is how Satan can convince everybody that a relationship with God is not the right thing for you. And God's not asking you to change and become perfect to have an established relationship with Him. He wants you to come just like you are. Come just like you are. Don't see yourself as needing to be perfect. Jesus lived the perfect life for us so that we can come right in the midst of our struggles, addictions, frustrations, bitterness, heartache, pain. Come just like you are. Heartache is real. Pain is real. Heartbreak is real. There's not a medicine that can fix that. Nobody's created a pill for heartbreak. And you can drink it. You can try to drink it away. You can try to dope it away. You can try to sleep it away. But when you wake up and you sober up, pain, heartbreak is still there. So we have to lean in, gain wisdom, and even through the heartbreak, there's opportunity, because as you are scarred, God will perfect those scars and bring your testimony to somebody else, and allow that testimony to be somebody's breakthrough. And I again use myself as an example. I'm neither perfect or nor perfected, and I dated somebody not right before dating my wife, but I dated somebody before my wife, and I got my heart broke, and I asked God the question, what do I do? And He says, I needed you to grow up as a man and lean on me. Don't lean on the wife that I'm going to give you, because if you lean on her, you're going to rely on her imperfection to solve for your circumstance. And if you lean on her and she fails, you're gonna be disappointed. And I was like, wow, that's insightful, Lord. What do I do? He says, get wisdom, lean on me, gain understanding. Because even in heartbreak, when you gain that understanding, you're going to recognize, if I lean on God and I lean into God, I'm going to perfect myself. I'm going to strengthen my relationship, and I'm going to wind up producing out of that better character, better resolve, better grit. And so when something hits me, I know how to bounce back. Yes, I might get my heart broken, but if I lean on him, I don't lash out. I don't cuss anybody out. I don't scream at anybody. I don't hit anybody. I don't try to resolve my situation by drinking it away. I resolve that by loving it away. I resolve that by leaning into Christ and saying, you know what? I'm going to lean into your bosom. I'm sorry. I'm hurting. Love me. Take care of me. Provide for me. And out of that, I wind up preserving relationships. I wind up preserving circumstances. I wind up preserving others because I didn't use a toxic method to get myself back into a place where I was comfortable because I could turn an alarm off and just do it in my own power. You know, it feels good to lash at somebody in the moment, but when you finish doing that, then what did you gain? If you only wind up destroying somebody else. And God didn't create us to be tearing each other down. He created us to build each other up. And so I'm sitting here, I'm writing the blog, and I'm like, I got to get this on video. I got to reach out and share this thought, because I want all of us to start to see life as an opportunity and use examples like King David as a way for us to identify with the established version of ourselves, the established version of us being better and great in our current circumstance and doing great things. We can go out and we can pursue things of life, and in that we're going to wind up becoming great. And so I don't want to belabor the situation. I want to give wisdom and knowledge at the drop of a hat, quick feeds, so that you can get your mind consistent on seeing every single thing that you put your hands to as a positive outcome. The Bible tells us that we make plans, but God orders our footsteps. So imagine you have a plan, you want to conquer something, and you believe and you get wisdom, and God's going to order your footsteps to the place of success. Everything that He puts we put our hands to shall succeed. And God said, I have a hope and a future for you, plan to prosper you and not harm you. And so lean in, become a Proverbs man. Wear it bold. Be bold. Be big believers in who you want to be and what you want to be. I don't want this message to get dumbed down to it's a black thing, it's a white thing. This is a Christ thing. Keep the main thing, so that we can be men of power and see outcome and bless those around us and be a blessing. So I'm going to leave you with this note and this prayer. Father, as we identify with who you made us to be as men in this world to make change and to bring change, we're going to believe that today is a time for us to let your word impart on us a journey and a destiny and a vision of conquering where we are and what's in front of us. And in that conquering, we'll find our destiny in you. We're going to do great things as men of God. We're going to do great things as children of God. We're going to bless those around us, and we're going to empower those to pursue this life with you. We love you. We speak blessings over everybody watching. Thank you. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Share this with your friends. Let's build this community of being a Proverbs man. We love you. Thank you.